Minute is rated R. The Rocky Horror Picture Show is also rated R. We're going to spend this time discussing the movie in gory detail, and along the road we will talk about some adult content and use some of our favorite swear words.
Ficken Zuckerstange, leck mich am Arsch.
Consider yourselves warned.
Welcome to Rocky Horror Minute, the podcast where we discuss the Rocky Horror Picture Show one agonizing minute at a time. I am one of your hosts, Kelly.
And I'm your other host, Leandra.
And today we are discussing minute 13 of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Leandra, you want to take us through what happened in this minute?
Absolutely. The car continues its rainy approach toward us. We see the interior of the car, with Janet reading a newspaper, the plain dealer of Cleveland, Ohio, more on that in a moment, and Brad driving, hands at 10 and 2. On the radio and completely ignored is Richard Nixon's resignation speech. Janet chews on a Hershey bar, offering a piece to Brad, which he then declines. Janet sees a passing motorcyclist and says, "Gosh, that's the third motorcyclist that's passed us. They sure do take their lives into their hands, what with the weather and all." And then Brad says, "Yes, Janet, life's pretty cheap for that type." And then there's a pause, dare I say a pregnant pause.
Can you get pregante?
And then Janet says, "What's the matter, Brad, darling?" And Brad, who has stopped the car in front of a gigantic, gaudy, confusingly bold dead-end sign, wipes the condensation off the windshield and then says, "We must have taken a wrong fork a few miles back." And then Janet, very helpfully, responds with, "Oh, but then where did that..." And we have no idea what she's talking about. I'm wondering if she's worried that Perry Bedden is now stalking them through the forest.
No, it's actually funny you should mention that. Do you know who's on the motorcycles?
I know that it is Transylvanians, but I don't know who that specific one was.
Yeah, well, no, we don't know which the specific ones were. I doubt anybody knows that information at this point, besides perhaps the actors on the motorcycles. But yes, the drivers of the motorcycles were like stunt drivers, but the passengers were Transylvanians in full costume.
They sure were.
Underneath their motorcycle gear, which is strange to do, I think.
It's like saying, "Hey, I need you to wear your show underwear." And you never change out of your Krim outfit.
Yeah. I mean, like, you have them come in the Transylvanian costumes. I'm going to rephrase that. You have them arrive in the Transylvanian costumes. Yeah, and they get on their motorcycle gear over that, but why not simply have them change into the Transylvanian costumes after the motorcycle scenes? Or I don't know.
Great question.
Not like a stage play where they have like limited time between takes, or even a shadow cast where they've got limited time for costume changes in between takes. But that was just, I thought, a bit strange. But anyway, so it could very well have been Perry Bedden on that motorcycle. We just don't know.
He's coming to get you.
Unfortunately, he is.
So that's our minute. Tune in next. No, I'm kidding. We've got a lot of notes to go through. Kelly, do you want to kick us off?
Well, so you kind of referred to the chocolate situation, and I just, especially as a Janet, want to go into that. Until very, very recently, thought she was chewing gum. And even as I was watching this minute and doing my notes, I forgot again it was chocolate. And I was like, oh, gum. And then I was like, wait, why is she offering it to Brad? And I was like, oh, right, because it's chocolate. Who chews chocolate like that? It's crazy. It's gross to chew gum that, like, in that smacking way, but chocolate, it doesn't make any sense. I mean,
it looks like somebody said, "I need you to really sell that you're eating this chocolate," because she was just going like this. And you can't see that because this is an absolutely auditory only medium, but I was just chewing normally. And then they said, "No, do it bigger." And it ended up doing No, she ended up doing this, and I can only assume that chewing cud is the best thing that they could get her to do.
Yeah, maybe like Susan Sarandon, they just couldn't train her to act like she was chewing, so they did what they do with dogs and just put some peanut butter on the roof of her mouth so that she would be like, "Mwah, mwah, mwah, mwah." 'Cause that's honestly how she's chewing it. It's insane.
Susan, and I will call you Susan because we're best friends. Um, I know you're listening,
Yeah.
so if you're out there, let us know if you've learned how to chew yet. I bet you have.
I'm not gonna go that far, but when Susan gets in touch, I will let her speak for herself because I'm sure she will. So yeah, that was what I had. The speech, of course, is really interesting, and we can talk about the timing of the movie in a minute. But I just wanted to note that per his statement on the director, or well, not director, the commentary he did with Patricia Quinn on the Blu-ray, Richard O'Brien hated the inclusion of the Nixon speech. He hated that it pigeonholed the movie into one moment in time, which I don't necessarily agree with, and we'll go into why in a minute. But he hated that, and Patricia Quinn loved it. She said she thought it was brilliant that they established the setting of the movie in that way. But Leandra, I know you did some deep diving here. Do you want to take us into the issues with that?
Oh, where to begin? Oh, I know. First off, we know that Krim said that this happened on a late November evening, and that's fine.
Yep.
That's okay. Then we're looking at the car that Brad's driving. It's a 1967 Ford Country Squire, wood paneled, blue, dare I say cyan, on the inside, the interior. We know that the motorcycle that passes is a 1974 Kawasaki Z1A 900. Okay, so now we're like it has to be 1974, but like in November, still doable.
Mm-hmm.
The Nixon resignation speech first aired on August 8th, 1974. Okay, cool. Maybe they're just listening to it again.
Mm-hmm.
But the date on the plane dealer is October 7th, 1974. And then the patch that Brad has on his tan jacket, something we'll discuss later in excruciating detail, says 1963. When the fuck is this, Kelly?
I think it could be November 1974 or later, or any November of any following year. It can't be any earlier than that because it's November, and as you discussed, the newspaper is from October 1974, but it could be an old newspaper and a taped speech and an old jacket.
I mean, yes, that is the only way that all of that could make sense. But why does Brad have a rain jacket with a patch from his high school, one that he at least conceptually graduated from recently, and they set that year at 1963? I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, even if, as I originally thought when watching this movie, they were college grads or co-eds, that timing still doesn't make any sense
Yeah,
because that would at this point be 11 years ago.
I'd love to say that this is Sue Mary's fault. She is the continuity person, but this is not her responsibility. This should be a script editor's job. So, for once, and only for once, I'm letting Sue Mary off the hook.
Well, the only major issues I have, it's not even the script editor. The only things that make it really confusing are, well, I guess the November evening part. But it really comes down to if they had just made the newspaper and the patch, I'm sure I am almost willing to bet that whoever involved that jacket or that patch in this movie never thought anybody would be looking into it that deeply. But at least the newspaper, that's like a pretty deliberate prop. You know what I mean? And like newspapers are well known for displaying their date prominently on the front cover. So that seems like something that they should have caught.
And I've got a fair amount of kind of interesting research about that specific newspaper. I know in previous minutes you mentioned that you're pretty sure this happened in Denton, Texas, which I can appreciate given the drawl Betty was going for. But the newspaper is the Plain Dealer. It's based out of Cleveland, Ohio, and depending on who you ask, this specific version of the newspaper is somewhat debatable. The original 1997 RHPS FAQ refers to a 1987 issue of Shop Talk that says that the paper was a mock up, referencing the fact that the front page headline in the movie, Six Big Ohio Utilities Seeking Rate Boosts, differs from the front page headline on the actual published paper, Six Ohio Utilities Seek Increases. The almost as ancient but still helpful Google message board calls that into question, saying that it could be the difference between the morning edition and the evening edition of the same newspaper. For what it's worth, Richard O'Brien said the Plain Dealer was chosen because of its acceptability with the Midwest. Immediate kind of association would be made. So I think that we can reasonably surmise that this is supposed to be Denton, Ohio.
There is no Denton, Ohio, though.
This is a movie.
Okay.
There also aren't aliens that
But
fly around in castles.
Is it not a documentary?
I mean,
Okay. I have to rethink some things. Like a lot of things in my life. But seriously, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I never even thought of it not being the Denton in Texas, but I suppose it could be a Denton anywhere.
it's kind of like which Springfield is The Simpsons in.
Yeah, which that's one that like they've deliberately made like an impossible riddle.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to recant my position on that I don't think it's Texas, especially with the newspaper. It never seemed really like Texas. Also, it seems like a very Midwestern place. So, what else do you have for this minute?
So, a thing that I genuinely enjoy about this in cinema, when someone is in a car and they're driving, but really the car is staying still and the camera's in front of them and they're pretending to vroom vroom beep beep, the driver just kind of moves the steering wheel like they're in one of those like play school vehicles and they're a toddler. So that's called steer jerking. And now that I've said that, you're never going to look at driving in movies the same way again. Brad's doing it like a lot.
Steer jerking.
Steer jerking.
Maybe
I did not make this up.
Because there's two things in Texas.
Huh.
but seriously, folks, I also wanted to discuss Brad's behavior in this minute because he acts so much like my father. My father also gets so frustrated upon seeing any motorcyclist for any reason. I mean, that almost could be a word for word. I've discussed my father on the podcast before. Try not to make this my personal therapy. Seriously, I have a decent relationship with my dad, but he's a very conservative and strange person with a bit of a Napoleon complex because he's 5'3", just like me. And when he sees a motorcyclist, it really frustrates him in that way. He would totally say, "Life's pretty cheap for that type." And then also, like, if he were to see that dead end, he would word for word go, "Golly." So anyway, he really reminds me of my dad in this moment, which is perfect because that's exactly the kind of person that Brad is supposed to be at the beginning of this movie, I think. A really repressed, conservative, middle American man.
I can definitely see that. I love that Janet's kind of leaning into what her kind of role in this is supposed to be. And she's just kind of sitting there, minding her own business, reading the newspaper. Really, they're just doing two separate things, and she's just acting like she has no brain. But she, of course, is reading a month-old newspaper.
Yes, that is one possible explanation. That's the explanation that the only explanation that makes sense if nobody in the making of this movie fucked anything up. And of course, it's impossible that anyone involved with this movie fucked anything up or made any mistakes.
I mean, right. I
Yeah.
think that makes sense. I think that surprisingly, we've gotten to the end of the large number of things that I just wanted to throw out there. So, do you want to head on into callbacks that you know, and then I will sprinkle in some that you might have never heard?
Yeah, we should definitely start with me since I know you'll have a bunch that I'm not aware of. The big one at the beginning when the windshield wipers are going back and forth, pointing between Brad and Janet, you are supposed to chant asshole slut, often at our shows at least. I never know which things are just made up by our regulars and have caught on and which things are actual callbacks, but ours will say asshole slut, Janet likes it in the butt.
Oh, I've heard Janet takes it up the butt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same type of deal.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's that. Of course, there's something to do with sluts being able to count, right? With the motorcycles. How's that one phrased, Leandra? Because I don't remember it.
So there's no, it's the first one. You just don't know how to count, or sluts can't count after she goes, gosh, that's the third motorcyclist that's passed us.
Okay. And then of course after she goes, oh, but then where did that motorcyclist come from? People will go do 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 because it's a spooky Twilight Zone moment.
It
But those are the
sure
only ones I
is.
can think of.
So there are a couple that that I'm pulling out of the vault. Some that I enjoy, some that are perhaps less enjoyable, but I've heard.
Okay.
So after the asshole slut, there are some people who go, for those of you on speed, asshole slut, asshole slut, asshole slut. For those of you on weed, asshole slut, asshole slut. For those of you on acid, red, green, blue, yellow, pink. For those of you on crack, oh my god, I'm on crack.
It's funny.
Yeah, I enjoy it. My problem with it is it just goes on forever.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to hear one time, but then if somebody goes, "Ah, this is the thing I do," I'm gonna say it louder than everybody.
Yeah.
Then that can be fun for that person.
That's one of those callbacks that would perhaps be more fun with a group of people all participating, you know, as opposed to one person just shouting them all one after another.
There's another callback right before, gosh, that's the third motorcyclist that's passed us, and I'm not saying this is funny.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that this is something that I've heard many, many times,
Okay.
and that is, "What is the last thing that Princess Di ever said?"
Damn. Oh, I'm going to hell. I think that it is not too soon for that one. That happened possibly before I was born. When
Oh,
did that happen?
I hope not.
Never mind. I thought it happened in the
Ah,
80s. Was that not the 80s?
no,
Oh, okay. I'm
90s.
just a truly just a dumb slut then. I had no idea.
I mean, put this into your brain. They made Beanie Babies to honor her.
That's true. The Princess Diana Beanie Baby. I think when it happened was probably the period of my life where I was living in Hawaii, and I can't imagine a thing that Hawaiian citizens would give less of a shit about than that. So it probably just completely passed me by as a child.
I had a lot of friends, and by friends, I mean my mom and her friends, who used to collect the Princess Di Beanie Babies because they knew that in just 5 years they could sell them and make a living out of it and just retire early. And then that didn't work out.
I actually purchased, this is maybe kind of mean, but I actually purchased like a Beanie Baby guidebook for like collectors from 1998 that states how much they're worth and how much they're going to be worth in like 2005 or something, and it's hilarious to compare with eBay. It's
Yep.
like today you pay $5,000 for this. By 2005 it'll be worth $15,000, and you look on eBay and it's like 39 cents. It's really, really sad.
I did enjoy the Beanie Baby thing for a little bit, but I was a small child. I didn't really care about their collectability.
Yeah, exactly. I was a child, so I loved them because they were toy animals, but I didn't really I don't know. It was a strange time in history. I think that was the first really big collector's bubble that burst like that. So a lot
Not
of people,
Pogs.
well, but were Pogs a real like boom and bust type of deal?
I don't know.
I
You
don't
have to
remember.
ask somebody who cares about Pogs.
Well, I asked the person who brought up Pogs, ya bitch. But shout out to whoever left us an Apple review titled Poggers, by the way. That's not related to Pogs, but I really liked it and it was hilarious. And thank you for making it a 5-star review, by the way, Poggers person.
Just moving back to the movie and not memorabilia from the movie or
Right.
anything.
I was about to say we could discuss memorabilia from the movie if you have any.
That's another conversation for another day. But going back to callbacks.
Yeah.
After Brad says, "Yeah, life's pretty cheap to that type," you go, "Yay, that type." And then she chews and chews and chews, but never swallows. That's what you say when Janet's chewing. And some people add to that she must be Chewish.
Right.
Which is like, kind of fun. Then what's the matter, Brad, darling? And you go, I came on the windshield because he's wiping the condensation off the glass.
That's right. I forgot about I came on the windshield. That is a classic.
And then if you're not doing the Twilight Zone theme after we must have taken a wrong fork a few miles back, or I guess that's before then. What you say instead is should have taken the left spoon.
Okay.
It's clever. It's almost a play on words.
Yeah. Do you have any other ones?
I'm reasonably sure that is it.
Well, then I guess we're out of things to talk about, except for 90s memorabilia, so let's get on that topic again.
Yeah, Dan, don't cut the next 45 minutes of us talking about our Beanie Baby collections.
Yeah. But seriously, why don't we sign off?
All right, we'll do that the same way we always do with now. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, so get the fuck out. Is that better for you?